Hello and welcome to Byzkids Digital Academy. Today's topic is personal finance management. I am David.
I'm Jakub.
And we will guide you through it.
So we can start with the first part, which is about PFM or personal finance management tools. We call them 1.0, which is the current offer by a lot of banks. And we also will talk about the reasons why it failed or didn't match the customer expectations. If you think about PFM tools, we usually think about charts, or depending whether they are pie or bar charts, that display some information about what are the incoming transactions, what are the outgoing transactions, perhaps some categories of my spending, which is a nice feature, and also it has a lot of in common what was delivered in PFM 1.0. We have here 6 points, which we're going to talk about a little bit in detail, and also mention where is the gap between what was delivered in PFM 1.0 and where the customer expectations, what they expect from PFM tools to be delivered to them. And we can went right through the first one, which is a feature we call identical for all users. Basically, we are all unique. Everyone has a different personality, wants or is interested in some different points of view. Like, I know a lot of people who would like to have a detailed information about their finances, but there is also a lot of people who just don't care. Okay, just tell me some brief information about my finances, and that's it. I don't want to hear anything more about it. And that's the problem of current solutions, because they're identical. No matter what I want, what are my interests, how deeply I want to know my finances, I always see the same chart, or depending whether it's bar or pie chart, it doesn't matter. There's one more point to add to it. It is the same, not just for one bank's customers. It's it's the same for the whole market. It doesn't matter which bank you use. You probably will see very similar chart telling you the same information. Yeah, that's what I wanted to tell you about the identical users. As for an introduction, David, what do you think about the current situation?
Yeah, I think you are exactly right. If you see the charts which are displayed on the right side of the slide, you can see some informations which are provided to customer. And I think this is fine, because you can see the monthly incomings and outgoings from your account. But the problem is that this is exactly the same each month for each customer, for each bank, and everything is, let's say, sterile. And the customer would like to feel unique and would like to see some tailor-made information for their needs. And I think that the banks could do a better job displaying this kind of information on more personal basis than to see charts to every customer and every month exactly the same. Yeah, so much to this topic, and let's move on.
Thank you, David. So we are moving on to the next one, and it's information overload. Basically, the purpose or the purpose of PFM 1.0 is to show you everything. I think about your finances, and in ideal case, put it in one screen, so you can see it at the first sight, which is challenging, because the more information you show, the more disoriented the customer gets, because I have no idea which information is important, where to look, where is the thing I should mostly take care about, and perhaps there are some information that I don't need to know at the first sight. So the problem is the solutions are trying to show you every information or everything about your finances in the past, month, perhaps a year. It depends. But as a client, I have no idea where to look. Where is the important information I should take out from the screen? What do you think, David, especially about the screen on the right side?
Yeah, absolutely. Here you can see a lot of numbers, and I mean a lot, because I can see some basic number at the top, two different charts with I don't know what they are even saying on the left side, and some other numbers on the bottom, and I really struggle here to see what is the most important number here and what to do, and basically what to do with it, because as a customer I would like to see some guidelines of how to behave, and I'm not getting it here. I see numbers and I don't know what to do with it. So I think that the banks could definitely do a better job with delivering some kind of priorities to those numbers and provide customers with information of what is really important. So that's the gap here, yeah, definitely. And back to Jakub.
Thank you, David. So we can move to the third feature here, which we call reports orientated. This is a simple one. It's just the purpose of PFM tool is to report you what's happened. Where did you spend your money? Where the categories, in which categories you spend most of your money, which is, let's say, useful information. But as David mentioned earlier, I have no idea what to do with it. If we look at the Airbank example here, you can see that this lucky guy invested 11,000 crowns last month, which I don't know what it means. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it too much? Or should he invest it more? Or how will this impact his financial situation? Is it getting him close to his goals? Perhaps financials or personal goals? I have no idea. And that's the problem, because the reports are oriented in the past. What's happened, but I want to know what it means for me in the future. What do you think about this point, David?
Yeah, I think that on this topic that you can definitely see that a lot of PFMs in banks are done by analysts there, and so they are really report oriented. So you can see a lot of charts, a lot of reports, a lot of tables, but what customers would love to see here are some advices. What to do, how to behave, how to, let's say, spend your money more wisely, how to invest more wisely, how to, let's say, make decisions based on my previous behavior. But that almost in every bank you cannot see this. You can see charts, and you need to be the clever one and to try to adjust your behavior based on information you can see there and make some choices. But the advice part is definitely missing, and the customer needs to put in a lot of effort to understand what's really important on monthly basis. Yeah. Okay, and now let's move to your favorite part of this.
Thank you, David. You're right. This is my favorite one, because it really makes me worry. It's about problems. What the current PFM solutions can do, they can identify problems that might appear in the future. Like, okay, I have some income, I have outcoming transactions, and perhaps I won't be able to, or I won't have sufficient funds in the end of the month. So the app notifies me, okay, you're spending too much, perhaps you should do something to avoid this situation. Or perhaps I don't have enough money on my account to pay regular bills or to pay mortgage, which might be a big problem. So yeah, I'm really happy that the bank can identify this for me, so I don't have to do the numbers. And they say, okay, you don't have enough money, or there might be possible overdraft in the end of the month, which is really great, but it has a big problem. It makes me worry. Now I'm worried about, okay, there's a problem, I have to do something. What should I do? Why did it even happen? And that's the problem that current PFM solutions all have, because I have no idea what to do. So I have to figure out, or as David said earlier, I have to be the smart one to figure out what to do. There is a nice example on the right side from Komerční banka, where you can see brief notification. Somebody say, okay, you don't have enough money to proceed a standing order. You should add some money on your account, so the payment will be successfully proceeded, which is a valuable information. But for me as a client, what it means. In the worst scenario, I see the notification, I say, okay, I do it later. I close the notification, and because I am who I am, I definitely forget about it, the transaction won't happen, and there's a problem created. If let's say lucky scenario happens, I click on the push notification, I open the app, just open my savings account, say, okay, I want to transfer 500 crowns from my savings to my checking. I confirm the transaction. Problems is, let's say, solved, but still the process can be much simpler. What do you think, David? How this process may look?
Yeah, here in this example, they are, let's say, halfway there. I love that they are making the insight, but I definitely don't love the passivity behind that, because I would love to see some solution here. Make it easy for the client and they will like you. But here you force the client to make the decisions of how to resolve the issues. But I can see clearly that the bank here should propose, let's say, 2 or 3 solutions, and based on yes or no questions to the client, let's make him choose. But make it easy, and don't force client to put a lot of effort behind this behavior, because it's really simple to solve it on your part. Okay, so back to the next topic.
Perfect, thank you, David. Now let's look at the 5th one, which is sort of connected to the first one, identical. And this means the reports are always the same every time, no matter what you did or what your expenses are. We always see the same picture, same aligned, which on one side is perfect, because you know where the numbers are. You can see, okay, here's this month income, here are the expenses. Okay, it's easy to orient in, yeah, that's the correct expression. But this works really well as long as the situation is normal. But when there's some, let's say, extraordinary situation, or some huge repayment, or some life events, like you're changing from rent to your own mortgage, your spend profile changes. And usually charts are not the best way how to reflect this, because one bigger transaction can completely ruin the visibility of your monthly expenses in the past. What do you think, David, about this?
Yeah, you can see it clearly here on this example, because here you can see that for a couple of months this customer makes some regular spendings, regular savings, and after 3 or 4 months there is 1 month which is let's say extraordinary, and there are some huge incomes and huge outcomes. So basically what it does is that the whole history suddenly becomes really tiny on this chart, and you cannot orientate yourself through it, and it will stick with you for 4 more months, when the other months will be, let's say, useless, and the only extraordinary month will have some relevance there and can be visibly, let's say, red. But yeah, for next month you will have no insight out of this chart. So this should definitely reflect how the information is displayed, and make some adjustment based on relevance of those information. So definitely. And let's go to the last point of this section.
Okay, thank you, David. Now we're moving to the end, and this is really one I sort of like, as well as the financial problems. And this is about expectations from customers, which usually are connected with budgeting, which is a really buzzword, or at least it was a few years ago, which is a, let's say, handy feature. Okay, I can set the budgets for all my categories. How much would I like to spend on, let's say, food or groceries, eating out or in restaurants, which is really a nice feature at the beginning. It's like, okay, we are all happy, we can set budgets, we're gonna save money, we're gonna make our finances easier for us, for ourselves. But the problem is I have to do a lot of numbers on myself, and I have no idea how much should I put in each budget. And then if I know the number or just guess the number, I can track my progress, which is funnier for the first month, perhaps 2 months, 3 months, and then it becomes the same. It's like, okay, it's just some chart, I should spend less on it perhaps, or can spend more, and usually I have no idea if it's good or bad, or I don't see the fun in it. because I was excited about watching my expenses, and then I see the charts and they are just there. What do you think about it, David?
Yeah, here I would like to see some more effort from the bank side, because you don't want to force customer to make a lot of input in and to make a lot of decisions. Here you can make a couple of suggestions. For example, on the past customer behavior, you can say that maybe in the category of eating out, based on your 3 months, let's make this budget and let's cut your spendings by 10%, and you will be fine, and you will put some of those savings to your investment account, and so you will, let's say, have healthier financial habits. Or let me see my peers on those categories, and let me, let's say, make some challenges with them to save a little bit more. So all of this should go to the point that you are saving a little bit more and you are making better decisions, let's say. But if you are forcing customer to set everything on their own, you probably risking that they won't do it. And now let's wrap up, Jakub.
Thank you, David. So if you look at the things we were just talking about, I would start with the first part, which is PFM 1.0, where you can 1.0, sorry, where you can see what was delivered, and we talk about the identical solutions for our users. Despite we know that customers want individualized information based on their spending and also their preferences. Also, currently we can see a lot of information overload on the PFM's market. Customers don't want that. They want it to be simple. They want it to understand. Also, they don't want to just know what happened. They want to know, okay, what to do. What does it mean for me? How will it impact my money? Which also is something that PFM 1.0 delivers, is the problems. It can identify where the problem is. But as a customer, I don't want to hear just where is the problem is. I want to know what to do. What's the solution? What solution the bank recommends me? So the problem might be, let's say, solved really quickly. And also, I don't want to see the same information each time I log into my bank app and see the report. I don't want to just know that. I want to know what's happened. Let's say, how am I keeping on track? If there is some budget or some recommendations, I want to know if I'm making progress on my finances or not. And last but not least, I don't do anything. Basically, I want my bank to do all the information or the counting or the boring stuff for me, automated, and I just see what's been prepared for me. That's the situation. David, can you introduce a bit our solution?
Yeah, and that's why we believe that PFM 2.0 is really the solution, because it takes the whole client behavior with bank as a journey and within this journey tries to provide some solutions. Basically, it goes all the way from the transaction data, and which it collects, individualize the information for each customers, and provide the customer with some insights, advice, solutions, and motivates them to behave better, and doesn't even forget to congratulate them for their progresses. And all of this is automated within the whole journey, and customer really needs to put a minimal effort to make this all happen. And now let's see how valuable insight can PFM 2.0 brings. Jakub, can you guide us through it?
Sure. If you look at the insights in PFM 2.0, we have defined 3 key elements that needs to be used to deliver value to customers which they expected. And the 3 ones are simplified, individualized, and actionable. The first one means I don't want to see a lot of information. I want to see one important information, ideally per one screen, because I'm not mentally capable to identify which information on the screen is important unless there are more than one. The second one is individualized. So each client wants something different. He behaves different his money, with his spending profile, and everyone sees sort of a different insight based on their spending habits and their say, relationship with the money. And the third part, which in my opinion is really important, it's actionable. So it's not just about to show some information, despite it might be really useful insight, but you also need to provide it with a solution, because without solutions, as I mentioned earlier, it just makes me worry and depressed, and I have to be the smart one to figure out what to do. So the good insight is simple, it's just for me, and I know what to do with it, which are the three key elements making a great insight. And also we have one more point, and it's based on the time orientation, because usually insights look into the past, what's happened, some insight that might help you to, let's say, optimize your money in the future, but also you can look into the future. Okay, there are insights about, okay, you're saving some amount of money, but if you want to achieve your goal, perhaps you should spend less and save a bit more in order to achieve your goals, which is, let's say, additional information, or really valuable insight based on what's expected in the future. And that's something which has a big potential for customers. They also love app that can provide this information that can, let's say, make their future bright and helps them achieve their goals. David, what do you think about it? Are there any solutions now?